If you're watching a pursuit here in South LA, it's a 80 suspect on a peace officer. They've been chasing it now for about 20 minutes. You see that white truck there. We're now making a turn here on Central, southbound from 86th Street. And apparently what happened, they tried to do a high-risk stop on this vehicle, then all of a sudden he backed up and smashed into the police car that was behind him. And now this pursuit's just been winding through this area right here. You can see him turning back westbound on 88th Street. That'll take him back down to the central area. Let's see what he does here. Fortunately, we're being kept way out by LAPD due to the having 2 air units overhead, and also we're underneath the LAX approach, which is really causing issues for us. And there he is now northbound, coming back up here. Northbound Central. Coming into a little bit of traffic right here. And this will be Manchester he's approaching. So once again, it's the LAPD Metro units in pursuit of a ADW suspect. Apparently they tried to do a traffic stop, and he rammed them at the stop. Now he's in that left turn pocket there, setting up to go west on Manchester, and down on the wrong side of the street, and then into Manchester here, and now turning westbound Manchester. And continuing now, you can see it's not a very high-speed pursuit, but there's 4 LAPD units kind of trailing, kind of giving room, hoping he'll just get out and get on foot. And you see just circling the same neighborhood here, coming up to the intersection of this residential street. Going to be making, I thought I was going to make a left turn there for a second. But as we watch here, it's just going to mosey on here westbound on Manchester. And we'll see what he does when he comes to this intersection. LAPD is holding way back. And McKinley is where he's at right now. And now southbound McKinley. And like I said, we have to keep a long shot because of LAPD's air units overhead. The pursuing unit's really high, air unit's pretty high. And then they have a secondary unit overhead that is really high up at our altitude, and it's kind of keeping us out of the way. And for what reason, I'm not really sure, but we're just kind of holding here to the east, watching him head on these streets now. Still on McKinley southbound here, coming back up to 87th Street. Aldo, I lost Aldo. There he is. Okay, Aldo, I got you. And he's still continuing south on McKinley here, going by the, and gonna make, looks like he's, I thought he was gonna make a turn there, but he's just kind of holding right in this one area, just kind of hanging out right here. And they thought he was going to go to ground here for a second. Coming back eastbound here. Coming up from McKinley, approaching Wadsworth here. And 90th Street he's on right now, passing Wadsworth. And on the brakes, going to make a turn here on Wadsworth northbound. The northbound Wadsworth. 89th Street is the cross right now. Like I said, it's an ADW on a peace officer, so LAPD Metro units initiated this pursuit now about 25, 30 minutes ago. And we've been circling this area for the last 15, 20 minutes. So right now we'll have to just kind of keep an eye on him and see what he does. But it's just a very low speed through the neighborhoods. Thank goodness. Luckily he's not driving. He's not driving at a high rate of speed, because right now we're in the 2 o'clock hour and schools in the area are going to start letting out. And we'll see what he does when he gets back up here at Manchester, right down under the tree. He's still continuing on. Wadsworth here approaching Manchester will be the next major he comes to. There he comes up to Manchester. Kind of on the brakes here, watching traffic, kind of getting around there to see which way he goes. He has been going back and forth on Manchester and not really committing to a direction right now. straight across Manchester. Okay, according to the LAPD right now, we're hearing that it's a parolee at large in a stolen car. And did you say possibly armed? And he's not armed today, right? And so kind of up the ante here with parolee at large, stolen vehicle, ADW on a peace officer. So a laundry list of felony violations that they're following as it continues north on Wadsworth. Passing through 84th on Wadsworth. And unfortunately, we're having to stay a long ways from the pursuit due to the LAPD air units overhead. So I'm just giving them room to do their work. Continuing on Wadsworth there, looked like we're going to make an eastbound turn. There you are. Coming back towards Central. 83rd Street is on right now. Back coming up here to Central. Gonna come up through here. Looks like he's gonna push through on the right turn here. Back southbound Central. 83rd Street now, still southbound. So he's pretty much circled the same area now ever since we come on this pursuit. And that's what they'll do, kind of get into an area where they know the area. They're trying to look for a safe house to go to. Dodge the spike strip right there as he went through. We heard them talking about them, but normally on a pursuit I will not indicate where spike strips are or what they're going to do, because I don't want to key into that suspect to know what's happening, because with a cell phone and things of today, they can be warned about spike strips. So I, as the pilot reporter here on Sky 5, will not give that information in advance, because I don't want the guy to know where it's at to go around it. So hopefully my colleagues and the other news helicopters are doing the same. So southbound Hoover coming back down to Manchester. Then I heard that. And you can see now still at a low rate of speed here coming down Hooper from Manchester. And like I said, he avoided that one spike strip. And when they're at low speeds like that, it's really hard to spike them. You have to almost stand on the side of the curb and wait for them to get right to you, then throw it out front. And there you can see LAPD unit kind of getting a little closer. Speed's picking up a little bit here. And southbound Hooper through 86. And now he's going around traffic, and the LAPD air unit upper high one kind of took off now, so we can get a little bit closer to this pursuit. And so we continue now southbound Hooper. Coming up on 92nd Street, could be westbound. And now 92nd Street, and here he comes up for the pit maneuver again. Up on him on his curb, come up on him, and he missed it there, probably because of the intersection coming up. Didn't want to send him through that intersection. So you can see right now he's turning back northbound here. LAPD units trying hard to get that pit maneuver on him, but north on Central from 92nd Street. So we're going to continue here, and if they get a chance, they'll get up there and get him, but they're not going to put the other motoring public in peril by doing a pit maneuver. They got plenty of time here. They take their time and let it roll here. You get a good clear street with no pedestrians or other traffic, then I guarantee you that unit will come up there and try it again. So, and at the same time, here he comes again. He's coming up on him on the left side, coming up on this side of him here. And we'll see if it's just kind of accelerated out of it. Coming back up to Manchester on Central. And now through Manchester, still north on Central. All right, here he goes. Okay, a little bit of a bump there, but not enough. You got to kind of get on it a little target, but his target slowed down on him, so you have to have that forward motion to get the inertia to bring it back into that truck around. Now he's going to make an eastbound turn here off of Manchester, off of Central. Yeah. Now the 84th place he's on. Coming back to Hooper. Oh, man, right there. Almost got that little PT Cruiser. And now passing that PT Cruiser on the right. And southbound Hooper, we're going to back down here, another res track. He was thought to turn there, but he had LAPD units there, and then there might have been a spike strip there. I didn't really see it. He's on the brakes. He's trying his best not to let that guy get next to him. Coming up to Manchester. There's a spike strip. He drove around it. Yep. They got it. Right now, discontinuing the pit maneuvers, but they are authorizing the spike strip still, and they're telling the units to back off just a little bit because of his aggressive driving after they got rolling on him. So right now they're making sure that the public safety is a priority here with LAPD, with any of these pursuits. There's no rush, no reason to push this if they have to. They got an air unit overhead, 4 units behind him. I mean, they'll continue to try to spike strip him to stop him, but they don't want to put citizens in harm's way. It's one of the priorities here. So they'll back off a little bit, let the air unit call it. He's not going to get away. And now continuing on here. And through Central here, 5 minutes. Still westbound, gonna take him back down to, I believe that's McKinley. All right, here he goes back northbound, coming back up to Manchester. We've gone through this street now 5 times since I've been here. McKinley now coming back eastbound now, Manchester back towards Central. And they're now saying that they're just going to back off a little bit here. You can see there's a real big distance between the suspect vehicle and the police units. So they're hoping that he just pulls over, takes off on foot. And they're telling him to hold off. All right, he's coming down the shoulder here on eastbound Manchester, approaching Central. Northbound Wadsworth from McKinley, or from Manchester. Still continuing north on Wadsworth. We're just having to move out again because the secondary LAPD ship here. Oh, okay, spike strip. He looked like he might have got it, but he kind of went through there, kind of rubbed his way through between those 2 cars. Got a good spike strip on him, so hopefully we'll start seeing tires come off this car, which will able to slow this thing down or make it come to a stop because he'll lose his drive wheel. But at these speeds, it'll take a little bit because of the inertia. Now turn it back southbound. And I believe that's going to be Wadsworth again, coming back down to Manchester. Excuse me, McKinley is on now, approaching Manchester. Coming up the intersection here, going to push through on a red light. Looks like he's going to try to push his way straight through. Coming back now eastbound on Manchester. I got you, sir, backing out. Got your 4. Left front tire is deflating. southbound Wadsworth from Manchester. Flying 4-mile orbits here. Now coming eastbound 87th from Wadsworth. Another successful spike strip on 87th Street. So left tire is deflating. So this should hopefully be coming to an end here pretty quick once he dries the rubber off those rims. But at this speed, it'll take a little bit because of the friction it takes to eat up those tires. Left rear tire is going as well. You can see there, the other LAPD officer out in the middle of the street throwing a spike strip. Kind of drove around that one. But they've got both left sides right now confirmed. Coming eastbound here, 89th from Central. Looks like he's coming to a stop here. Let's see what we got. Oh, no, he's going to make a U-turn in the alley. And now coming back out here out of the alley. Continuing in the alley between Wadsworth and McKinley, coming back up to 86, 87th area. 87th place he's at now. Continuing in the alley here. Now making a westbound turn. 87th place coming back to Central. And he looks like he's making north on Central here. There he goes around traffic. And north on Central here, LAPD ground units are staying well back, and you can see he's holding back from traffic as well, as not to get himself trapped in. But if you're just joining us here on KTLA.com, KTLA Live, and Facebook Live, you're watching Pursuit with LAPD here. Started just about 40 minutes ago. It's a assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer, as well as a parolee at large driving a stolen car. So three pretty good felonies here that they're dealing with. They've spike stripped him several times and have able, there's another spike strip right there, and yeah, he got over the top of those, very good. The left tires are completely out, and now hopefully he took out the right tires as we continue northbound on Central. But again, it's a parolee at large, stolen vehicle, and also during the high-risk stop that the Metro units were trying to make, he apparently rammed one of their units. That's what started this thing off. Now, continuing north on Central. And that looked like a good spike strip. Looks like it got most of the tires going from what we're hearing via ground units. And unfortunately, we're having to stay pretty distant on this due to the fact there's two LAPD area units overhead, and we're giving them their room to work. Coming back eastbound. 8-3 from Central. Coming back 8-3 from Central. They're going to make a southbound turn here. Hooper from 83rd. Southbound Hooper from 83rd. So pretty much he's just going to drive the rubber right off those rims, hopefully, and bring this thing to a stop. LAPD not being really aggressive on the ground with the units skating in behind. They did attempt several pit maneuvers, but just didn't have enough room nor speed to get it done. So right now it's just a slow speed, waiting for those tires to completely fail. Coming up on Manchester or Firestone, it kind of makes a change right in this area. Now turning back westbound Manchester from Hooper. And now southbound Central from Manchester. Just slowing down here. Got slow speed here. LAPD right behind him here. South at Central from Manchester. Southbound Central from 88th, real slow speed here, so it's looking like about 10 miles an hour. Either trying to save that rubber on those rims, or he's running out of rubber. I can't really tell from this distance. Normally, if they keep a higher speed, you start seeing the smoke coming off the wheels and also the rubber flying off. But at this speed, he's not building up enough friction or enough heat to cause those tires to fail. But they are flat, I can tell you that. So he's running on the rubber and the rims. Through 88th place on Central. Now making a little head fake there at 87, or 89th actually. A lot of people now out because he's gone around in circles here for the last 30, 35 minutes in the same neighborhood. So that tends to get people to start coming out, watching, trying to get their video of it. See the folks on the roof there. I'm not saying anything. And now making a left turn here. Okay, around the corner, made a U-turn here. Northbound Central. Looks like we're coming to a stop here. And back on, it's waving at the crowd. Five, Patty. Now we're continuing north here. Back on Central. Going really slow. I'm going to slide around here, get 5's moving north. I got you. Right. Move my way around to the north here so we can look straight down Central. He's getting kind of slow, and I don't want to lose him behind a building, but like I said before, fortunately we're dealing with the air units overhead, keeping us pretty wide of the pursuit. Normally we could be over to the top of them, but because of LA airspace and the 2 air units overhead, it's keeping us kind of wide. So just kind of shooting a gap here down Central so we can kind of watch this. Park at your 6 o'clock, number 9. And of course, as soon as we get to the north, he'll turn east or west. So it's just a matter of which direction you want to look, either north, south, or east, west. It's all the same. And let's have a big Airbus go over the top of the A380. The eastbound on Manchester from Central again. I'll stay north here. Turning back down, I believe this is going to be Hooper again from Manchester or Firestone. Firestone. Manchester changes names to Firestone out here on the east end, so we got to keep track of it here south on Hooper from Firestone. Once again, it's a Proley at large, stolen vehicle, and assault with a deadly weapon with that vehicle on a peace officer. Apparently they tried to stop him, and he got his hands out the window, kind of waving back, whether he's just taunting the officers or talking about giving up here, but still continuing on. So we see that a lot, where they'll hang their hands out the window, kind of taunting the officer just a little bit, and yelling and screaming like, "Stop following me and I'll quit running," but that rarely ever works. Now, coming back to Central, westbound here, I believe he said 88. And as soon as he comes to a stop, we'll move Sky 5 into position and try to see the either foot pursuit or the apprehension here. But coming back out to Central, right back northbound Central. Northbound Central from 88. The LAPD just holding the intersections, letting this guy travel along. He's got flat tires, so he's not going to really get it going too hard. They've attempted several pit maneuvers. They were successful with multiple spike strips. So right now, you can see this issue here. Now, what the police officers have to worry about right now is this guy bailing out and getting in another vehicle. We've seen that several times on pursuits where they disable the car they're in, and then they just kind of watch for somebody not paying attention or just close enough to where they can jump out and yank somebody out of their car, and then off we go again with a new car. So if you're in a situation like this and you see a police pursuit coming, just stay out of the way and keep your doors and windows up, locked and up, and because you don't want to be this guy's next victim. Now turning back east on Firestone from Central. And per the incident commander on scene, all 4 tires are completely deflated. So LAPD doing a textbook pursuit here, just slowly following it with the ground units, not pushing too hard. The spike strips have worked to take out the suspect's tires. LAPD area unit overhead keeping close watch, and they have units stationed in the area, so when this guy finally does go in on foot, they'll have a lot of officers to set up a perimeter and take the guy into custody. I guarantee you that he's not going to get too far once he comes out of that car. Oh, yes. Looks like a Telemundo or a 9. Coming back 8-7 place towards Central. Apparently a competitor's ground shooter is being talked to by LAPD for standing out in the intersection while this guy went by. And now coming back to Central. And now turning northbound on Central. Pulled his credentials, huh? That might be a 4 too. I can't tell. I can see the live truck sitting there. But as we continue on now, we're still northbound Central, coming back up onto Manchester, or actually Firestone, this end of town. He's stuck in traffic. Traffic is pretty much stopped at a red light. Now he's going to move over and go around this traffic here. right now, looks like he's going to hold that, try to go around to the around the wrong side of the street here. And they're talking about shutting down streets here just to try to keep people out of the way here, because it's he's just circling the same area around and around. Once again, eastbound on Firestone here from Central. Coming up to Hooper. Now southbound Hooper. I know. Now into a parking lot here, it looks like. In the alley, going to take him back down to the alleyway. South of Firestone, east-west alleyway, heading back to Central. Taking a couple alleys here before. The problem with that is, okay, now he's back in that same alley he was earlier, going southbound between Hooper and Central. Coming up to 87, turning westbound. There he comes back out here to 87th and Central, back northbound. This will bring him right back to Firestone. See, the LAPD units are now blocking traffic, trying to keep him contained in an area here with the units. You see right now there's a unit right there blocking southbound southbound Central from Firestone. And now it's going to force him to, well, he can go straight if you wanted, but now he's back eastbound. Now back southbound at Hoover. Get ready for a tack switch. Southbound Hooper approaching 87. So you've heard these numbers and street names before. Just staying in this real square right here between Hooper and Central Manchester and down to about 90th is the first south we've got. And they've got, they're starting to shut down the streets to contain him to this area. And that'll keep the pursuit a little bit safer for the motoring public. Yeah, luckily he's not driving at any high rate of speed or driving radically here on the surface streets here now at 230. Definitely a lot of more people on the street and sidewalks now. So coming up here, gonna make probably a right turn back westbound. Up, little head fake there. Continuing southbound on Hooper. A lot of people out with their cell phones standing on the sidewalk, and he slows down for them. Now going to make a right-hand turn here. And continue on now westbound back towards Central. And you know, the LAPD here are doing their best just to kind of keep an eye on him and not antagonize him into driving recklessly here and endangering the other motoring public. Staying back with their four units, and they have 2 air units overhead. Keep an eye on him. And so right now he's not going to get away as he goes out on foot. But coming back up on to Central here, and there he is back northbound Central from 89th Street. So they're just going to wear this guy out, just let him go around circles and wait for those tires to finally come off the rim. And once that rim hits the ground, then he'll lose his ability to accelerate and propel the car or the truck here, especially pickup trucks with their light rear ends. But if you're just joining us here on KTLA Live and Facebook Live, as well as on KTLA.com, it's a pursuit that's been going on now well over an hour. LAPD in pursuit of a parolee at large stolen vehicle, and also when they tried to stop him originally, he apparently backed up and smashed into one of the Metro units, which then added assault with a deadly weapon on a police officer. So 3 Class 1 felonies on this subject right now, and being a parolee, he's going to have to suffer the consequences of what he's on parole for too as well. So not much of an incentive to give up right now. Just going to run this car until it quits. And they're making other plans here to try to get this contained. Right now it looks like they're blocking off the different streets here, making him contained into one area. It's working out really well. So he's coming back down to Firestone here south on Central. Yes. I'm not saying anything. Once again, if we hear any intel about what they're planning to do or what's a tactic they're going to use, I won't repeat it because I don't want to tip this guy off on anything LAPD has planned, such as spike strips or pit maneuvers, because you know, if he's listening on the web just like you are, or he has friends watching and coverage, and then they'll call him and say, hey, look out, there's a spike strip at, let's say, 88th and Manchester, 88th and Central, you know, then he'll go someplace else or go around it. But fortunately, LAPD has been able to hit him with about 4 spike strips, and all his tires are flat right now. So now turning back east on Manchester, it'll take him back down to Hooper. And so, like I said, just to help out the officers, help out the guys in the pursuit, we don't give away the tactics that they're going to use. Now he's on the gas just a little bit more here. Look like low-profile tires on this truck, so they're not going to last as well as the standard tire trucks. So hopefully he'll run them off the rim here in a second as he goes around these turns. So kind of head faking here at Hooper and continuing less. It looks like a U-turn here, Hooper and Manchester, or Hooper and Firestone. But just as a indicator, I would highly recommend, if you're speaking with this guy, tell him to give it up now, because his life's going to become very hectic here pretty soon. So this is not going to last much longer. And the end result is going to be the same, just going to go to jail. So still coming back on Firestone, coming back to Manchester, actually Central. Coming up to Central here. Heading a little bit on the right, kind of rolling a little wrong side of the street. Coming up on Central here at Firestone, making that southbound turn. Now down to 5 miles an hour southbound on Central. LAPD unit right behind him, doors open, ready to get out. Should this guy go to foot, start running, more than likely he's just going to come to a slow stop. Oh, now we got 3 LAPD units here. Coming up to 87th Street, 87th place. And 3rd LAPD air unit here. He's probably going to relieve one of them here, either 10 or 3. So see what happens. Still southbound Central area. Gonna start. He's going to turn. Now eastbound 88th from Central. In the alleyway again here, same alleyway we were in before. Coming back to Hooper on 88th. Coming back north on Hooper. Still southbound Hooper, approaching Firestone. Guy from Boston. And now here on Hooper, turning back west on Firestone. Coming to a stop and then taking off again. Now back south on Central from Firestone. And what they're doing is they've blocked the westbound traffic on Firestone, the eastbound traffic, as well as the traffic on Central, just to keep the area clear. You see the units are parked on the side streets, just blocking everybody from coming on. But as he's gone around this neighborhood a bunch of times, it's bringing a lot of folks out to the sidewalk. So that doesn't help a lot with the tactics the officers need to do when they finally get this guy out. Even a small kid right there, and somebody running out there trying to get pictures. So bad idea, very bad idea. Off vehicle sitting there with the door open. Now, as I was talking about, the opportunity for him to jump out of this disabled one and then take your car. That's the last thing you want to happen here. So keep that in mind when you're pulling over to take pictures of a pursuit, because he's trying to get away and doesn't care if you keep your car or not. Yeah, we've seen it several times before, where people are forcibly removed from their cars by a suspect, and then the pursuit is off again. So right now, still southbound on Central, going up on about 85th. There he goes back eastbound. Maybe a U-turn. U-turn on Central. 88th place back northbound on Central. You see right here, he's pulling up next to these cars, and still northbound here on Central. Got you back there, Bruns. Back up a little bit. Zeus got you coming in. Okay. Yeah. All right, to let us know. Just coming towards you. I don't know. Let's get him out behind that tree. Ah, here he comes. Reporting the car might be smoking just a little bit. It's probably just the rims rubbing on the asphalt. Looks like it might be coming to a stop here on Central, north of Firestone. Yeah. Still, now that's where they should have put a unit in front of him. You normally don't want to block a vehicle with your police unit because it puts you in the line of fire, but in some situations like this, you could pull in front of him and just bail out and get out of the way. But that's totally up to the officers down here on the ground to make that decision. But normally it's not practiced. Looks like some guy is pulling across the street in front of him, up ahead of him. As a civilian car. Now he's pulling away. Doors open. Okay, we're going to widen out just a little bit here as we're on Firestone, just to the west or east of Central, and then he took off again. Coming up to Hooper. So right now he's just kind of taunting the officers here, stopping, opening his door, and of course they have to react to what he does. But once again, it's a Parolia large stolen vehicle and also assault with a deadly weapon on an officer, where he rammed the officer's unit with that truck. That's what started all this well over an hour and 15, 20 minutes ago. Now southbound Hooper from Firestone. Right. Coming up to 88th place, southbound Hooper. Through 89th. My audio's starting to go away. Right. Westbound 89th from Hooper now. So pretty much just been making a circle here between 89th and Firestone, Hooper, and Central is where he's been running. Approaching Central. Looks like they're stopping here, but we've done this before, 89th and Central, where it looks like they're going to stop, and then he'll pull away from the officer, so we'll see if he does it again here. Right behind you. It looks like he's hanging out of the car here, giving up a little bit. We're kind of keeping a wide shot right now because want to be careful here. And you got a guy on a bicycle riding around out in the middle of all this. Looks like he's complying, thank goodness. That's all he's got to do is follow the direction of the officers, do exactly what he asks them to do. And then right now, we got a civilian car pulling down the side there. It looks like he's semi-complying. He's going to get a taste of less lethal here in a bit, or a taser if he continues on with his mannerisms here. Down on his knees. Bit of checking the vehicle right there. Now you have an arrest team come up here from the side. Looks like it's going to be a code 4 here. Suspect in custody. Now they're just going to a little bit of crowd control here. In custody. I'll move a little closer for you. And 9, I'm tight to your north. I hear you, I hear you. Okay, I do not have off air, so I'm just going to go with the generic. Tell me when to be quiet. Is that off air? Barrick, I can't see it, so. See, I can't see that at all. It's not, it's just. Yeah. Five is sliding south, and I'll be off 02. No video of the arrest. I tell you what, this was a long pursuit. It went about an hour and a half down here in South Los Angeles, working in the areas between 88th and Firestone, Hooper, and Central. This white pickup truck here wanted for ADW on a police officer. Apparently, earlier today, LAPD Metros tried to stop this car. If we have video, we'll roll you up that pursuit. But LAPD Metro tried to stop this car, and when they made the stop, that suspect backed into their unit, and the pursuit started. During the pursuit, they learned that the driver, the suspect, was a parolee at large, and also the vehicle he was driving is stolen. So LAPD stayed with it, and they continued in a surveillance mode and were able to put out 4 or 5 different spike strips to be able to take out all the tires on this pickup truck. And then finally, he just ran out of rubber for the tire, for the rims, and came to a stop here on Central, right about 88th Street. So LAPD able to take him into custody without incident. And what we're hearing is no civilian injuries during this pursuit. LAPD here in mass, keeping a perimeter around this car while they finish up this investigation. So that's the latest from Sky 5 over South LA. Let me set it back down to you. Clear. Yeah, Simon to Sky 5, we've done our hit. What's your pleasure? Simon to Sky 5. Yep. All right, I hear you now. We're in the backup, so what's your pleasure? Now the crowds have given up. They got a lot of policemen here, so this pretty much a done deal. Heading home. Yeah, you good?